fastest show in sports.
We have to make note of what's going on in the WNBA because this is a league right now that's in a lot of problems, a lot of discourse that's going back and forth. But I specifically wanted to talk about the social media aspect of the WNBA issues. I'm always touring social media, looking for things that we can talk about, looking for different items, looking for a little more information, talking to my friends all around the country. But the one thing that I think is hysterical is all of these clickbait clowns and these trolls who are out there pushing absolute complete bullshit about the WNBA, and people are falling for it. Take, for instance,
Adam Silver stepping in is not something you see every day. He's the NBA commissioner, not the WNBA's babysitter. But this time, he had no choice. Silver announced that Cathy Engelbert would be suspended indefinitely, while an internal review looked into the league's leadership and the fallout from the press footage. The move was unprecedented. It showed how serious the situation had become. In his remarks, Silver made it clear that the WNBA's credibility and its relationship with players had reached a breaking point. He said the league needed a reset, and that couldn't happen with Engelbert at the helm. What's wild is that it took this much drama for someone to finally step in. Fans and analysts had been questioning Engelbert's decisions for months, especially after the Olympic snub of Caitlin Clark and the growing disconnect between leadership and players. Silver's intervention showed that even the NBA couldn't ignore the WNBA's dysfunction anymore. In a way, it was embarrassing for the league. Instead of running itself, the WNBA needed the NBA's top boss to step in and stabilize things. For Engelbert, it wasn't just a suspension. It was a public admission that she had lost control.
Again, there was no suspension. It's all clickbait bullshit. And people are falling for it. It's all of the trolls that are out there just shoveling this nonsense out there, getting clicks, because that's all they want. They don't want anything to do with any facts or any real truth in reporting. No journalism involved here. This is all about getting those happy little clicks so they can go back to their mommy in the kitchen. They can go out of the basement from where they basically record their shows and go, look, Ma, I got 27 clicks this week. Hey, I'm big, I'm famous. Bullshit. It's just what's being thrown around the WNBA. But the biggest point here is Adam Silver, as the commissioner of the NBA, has a fiduciary responsibility to stay involved in what happens with the WNBA, because the NBA is still the biggest supporter, financially speaking, of the WNBA. They have a huge monetary input here. So it is his right and his responsibility to make sure that money is being spent properly. Not only that, but Silver runs one of the most powerful sports leagues in the world. The WNBA is still basically, even though they've been around a long time, they're still, thanks to the remake, a bit of an infant league right now. They still have growing pains. And it doesn't make a difference how good the people are. They need a little guidance from time to time. Cathy Engelbert is an excellent businesswoman. And she thus far has been a pretty good commissioner. Well, that's if you're not listening to some of the propaganda. But in the same breath, you need a hand here and there. Adam Silver did not intervene. Adam Silver came to Cathy Engelbert and said, how about we talk this out? How about I give you a hand? How about I help you a little bit in dealing with some of these players? Look, and one of the biggest things here in a CBA is you've got to make sure that the players don't run the league. And the players have to understand that too. The running of the WNBA comes from the commissioner's office and then goes back to the NBA. There is a pattern here. Players don't run this league. That can't happen. Yes, the officiating needs to get better. Yes, the players need to be paid more. Yes, there needs to be better marketing and there needs to be a better understanding of the athletes. But you can't let the inmates run the asylum. They're not the ones who need to have the power in all this. The players can't run this league. And the WNBA needs that help from Adam Silver and others to make sure that they are getting through a very difficult CBA. Which brings up another point. I have been hammered by a lot of people across social media on some of the comments that I have made about the WNBA in the last month or so. One of the comments that keeps coming up is, Ed, how can you take these players to task like this when the WNBA makes sure that they're not getting the big money? The WNBA is keeping them down. The WNBA makes sure that they make absolute crap money, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. They're not making the millions that their peers in the NBA should make. How can you look past that? Here it is. More bullshit in all of this. Okay? You really think that the WNBA is keeping the players down? What's the advantage? What's the reason? Why would a commissioner or anybody sit there and say, I'm going to make sure that you get paid $150,000 less? Now, there are budgets that have to be hit. There is a question about the profit margin. There's a question about revenue sharing. There's all of these questions that need to be answered. But the unbelievable nonsense that Kathy Engelbert or anybody at the forefront of the WNBA is trying to keep their players down, they want their players to succeed. Because when the players succeed, the league succeeds. When the league succeeds, everybody makes a lot of money. That's the end of it. It's about everybody making a tremendous amount of money, so they are not keeping their players down. Engelbert is not out there making sure that contracts stay down. It happens in every single sport where there are contracts and players are contracted and players get involved with management, and management and ownership decides how you're going to make more money, and then you collectively bargain, and then you negotiate better contracts, and then everybody makes more money, and then the sponsorships go up, and then the ratings go up. It's all just one big string here, kids. So let's stop with this complete bullshit that the WNBA is trying to keep its players down. There's no logic in that. There's nothing to be gained in that. Keep the players down? Why? Then you want them angry, and you don't want your best players out there? You don't want Caitlin Clark angry? You don't want any of these other players angry. You want them to be happy. You want them to be out there playing great basketball. So that's why you have collective bargaining. You get involved. You create new contracts. You pave the way for more money because the WNBA still is not making a profit. They still are subsidized by the NBA. With all of this wonderness, with all of these marketing tools, with all of these ratings and all of these fans showing up at seats, the WNBA is still not profitable and able to stand on its own. So the players need to understand that, management needs to understand that, and the fans need to understand that. Well, the fans less, because the fans are involved in wanting to win and come see a great game. That's what they deserve every single time. But the WNBA is not holding its players back. You're biting into the clickbait trolls of the world. You're biting into the idiots who are out there throwing out stuff like Kathy Engelbert is suspended when it's a complete lie. Get the facts. Understand. And the league will move on. Everybody needs to take a breath. Isn't that better? Yeah, right. I know. Complete bullshit.
Ed Berliner, the fastest show in sports.